you still contemplating on how to address all your worries of getting quality tools for quality services, ranging from building, mechanics, plumbing, electrical? Look no further. Just rush to Tolzon Tools and More, located at Bursubi Roundabout, adjacent to Afrimed International Hospital. Tolzon Tools and More has very high quality security doors, shower pipes, ceiling fans, smart televisions of various inches, solar panels, tiles of various sizes, welding tools, bulbs of different types, generators, high quality air conditioners, car batteries, carpentry tools, and many more. Tolzon Tools and More has an impeccable record in selling and importing quality tools from Turkey, Italy, China, and Europe. For more information, please call them on +220 36 899 80, +220 77 41279, or you can try them on +220 94 22 684, or you can visit their store at Bursubi Roundabout, few meters away from Afrimed International Hospital.
Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Alkali Cham. Once again, we are back to do a review of the nomination and the ministerial appointment that has been done by the President of the Republic. I am once again joined by my colleague from the University of the Gambia, specifically the political department of the University of the Gambia, Mr. Ali Shise. Ali, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, It's a pleasure to be here to share my thoughts, wishes, and aspirations. And I look forward to a very insightful discussion on the subject matters as you have stated earlier.
Thank you, Mr. Sisi. Recently, a lot has happened from the presidential elections, and also the parliamentary election followed, and then we've seen recently the National Assembly members are sworn into the office to they've all taken the oath of office, and which was done in a very colorful ceremony. How did you feel to see such an event as Gambian?
Yeah, it's official. It was so official, and that was the beginning of their work. That was the beginning of their responsibility as National Assembly members, as they took oath to swear that they are going to do their work fair, without favoring or without any bias. So that was so telling, and I think that they should look up to very well, because that is a chain that they should bind and then respect their words as they swear to make sure they serve the Gambian people as much as they want.
We've seen that some of them, if you look at their compositions, they are from various political parties, and few of them are independent candidates as well. Do you expect in any way that the partisan issues is going to override that of the national interest in the parliament?
Well, I don't expect that. I don't really expect that, because National Assembly members, if they do their duty very well, the issue of partisans should not even exist in the National Assembly. That is not a house of any political party. That is a house of the Gambian people, just like the State House. So the State House is a specific individual we send there to represent us, but the National Assembly is a group of people that represent different constituencies whom we send there to represent us. So issue of partisans should not even exist in the National Assembly. And I think these people, the National Assembly members, will do justice to make sure that they represent the people and not being very partisan in their decisions.
From the swearing-in ceremony of the National Assembly members also followed a very interesting event. We've seen the nomination of key individuals. In fact, it was speculative that the president was going to reflect his mind, look behind to the marginalized communities, which include the disabled, which include the Christian community. But unfortunately, he went around to nominate certain people that are even voted out by the members of their constituents, like Fatimata Jawara. Don't you think that is an insult to the democracy of the country?
Obviously, that was not wise of President ADAMA Barrow at all. And I also want to say this, that immediately these people assume office, and the appointments, like you said, I think the president should consider a certain marginalized group like the disabilities and also religious wise. He should consider all that in the nomination process, but that was not done by the president. I think that is something that people are talking about, because the president ought to adhere and look at those kind of elements in trying to nominate people that he thinks should represent him in the parliament. But then unfortunately that was not done. But then
in that process, don't you think one could believe that the president is ignorant of the fact that effective procedural measures has to be taken in the process of appointment or nominating these candidates. But one could also say perhaps he's not aware or he's not been properly advised. Don't you think the action is deliberate?
Yeah. The action is like sometimes even you would think that President Aramboro just sit down at his own corner and started doing certain things individually at his own personal level, because I think if at all he consulted certain individuals that are so objective and rational in what they're doing, he will not have done what we have seen him done. Because if you look at the nomination of particularly that Fatmata Jawara, who was rejected by the people, and you as a president still believe in her that she can make it and she can do it, just like the way others entrusted other parliamentarians to go and represent them. It's so funny anyway. But I think Fatmata Jawara also need to take this opportunity to defend and also safeguard his credibility and also capabilities by serving well, because if not, that will also jeopardize his nomination.
Some said deliberately Fatmata Jawara is brought to the parliament to be defante, as they said in Wales,
because he's a lady. And most likely, I don't know. Because I think that's not going to be her job. Defante make with ligayam. So what she ought to do is to make sure she serve independently.
Okay.
Yeah, to make sure parliamentary proceedings go accordingly in a very fair manner.
Okay. Another sensitive nomination or another sensitive issue here is we saw people that the citizenry, says these are individuals or these are personalities that helped dictatorship, that encourages dictatorship in this country at all cost. This individual includes Sirinjai and Fabakal Tambonjata, are nominated to the parliament, and also, as the speaker and the speaker of the National Assembly. So what is your take on this, Mr. Sise?
Yeah, constitutionally, the president have the power to nominate these people, just like he already did. But then also looking at the actions and inaction of these people in the past is also very key, and also their potentiality and their capabilities in serving those positions he entrusted them. I think Fabakary Tombong Jatta is a veteran. Is a veteran parliamentarian, as he was there, but then his record matters a lot, whether he was able to do well by the time he was there, which should qualify him to be the Speaker of the National Assembly. And also, if you look at Sirinjai, if you look into history, his actions and inactions by verbal and many other things, whether those actions and inactions qualified him to serve as the Deputy Speaker, I think those things need to be considered by Barrow. But unfortunately, those were not considered by Barrow. And I want to also assert this, that these two individuals really need to prove to the Gambian people, because sometimes the past and the history is very important. The past can be related to the present because they have certain influences on each other. But these two people need to really prove to the Gambian people, because the Gambian people are really having a grapevine about their appointment by the president. So
no one could definitely, it came as a surprise to many that the Sirinjai and that of Fabakary Tombong will bounce back to the government. And others would say Fabakary is one person that helped dictatorship in this country. In fact, the 1997 constitution came into existence through his efforts and the efforts of the rest of the members of the parliament that were in for the majority leader. And also historically, Sidinjai also has an outstanding record during impasse when the president said he was not going to leave. Sidinjai was one of the key figures that was very, very consistent in defending the president at a point that he was even given the position of the information minister at that time. Very interesting moment.
I think that's where I said that President Barrow should have looked at the historical account of these people before putting them there, because those things might repeat itself. So it's a warning anyway, and I think all those people, all that these people need to do is to prove to the Gambian people that it's a different duty given to them, and they are going to act just as it's supposed to be done, because the role of the speaker is clearly stated, the role of the deputy speaker is also clearly stated, and all they need to do is to implement exactly as it is stated. And when they do that, there will be no problem. But when they do it otherwise, it is going to be an issue, and then they will have a problem about that.
Are you expecting an effective judicial delivery of service, from that of the deputy speaker and the speaker, looking at their political affiliation to that of the sitting president, because it's queried that they are there, because of their, political affiliations, that they have backed the president, during the presidential elections and all whatnot. They've campaigned for him, and eventually he won the election, and that's why he's there. But the issue here is, will they be very straightforward in their dealings, within their dealings of the national matters within the parliament?
Yeah, obviously they have to be very fair. Like I told you earlier, their duty is stated. Their duty is there for them. All they need to do is to just adhere and implement those duties given to them. But now, the issue of being partisan, somehow being answerable, and also looking at the colors of their party in the parliament, will really jeopardize their work. And I don't wish that to happen. And I also want to say this, that warn them, because the Gambian people don't want such kind of actions to repeat itself, wherein the parliament will not perform effectively or efficiently as it's supposed to be.
And then, are you expecting a unified, or do we see a unified National Assembly as they are coming? Is not widely embraced by some members of the parliament. So, and again, they rose to a leadership position. They occupied a leadership position within the National Assembly. Going by their records, I'm trying to relate, their functions to their relationship with their colleagues in the National Assembly, and this could have a great impact on their performance.
Yeah, that can really have a great impact on their performance and jeopardize their duty, as you state. But then, when you look at the nomination of Bakari and the assistant, the deputy, I think, there was this time when I stated this, that the president can nominate somebody like Halifa Sallah as the speaker, because this guy knows the parliamentary proceedings very well, and he have the experience and the qualifications. But then some people dispute that the president cannot appoint an opposition to serve as his speaker in the National Assembly. But appointing Bakari, or nominating Bakari was also an opposition, can still be an opposition. So it does not make sense. And looking at Halifa Sallah, I think Halifa Sallah is no more within the political arena. He resigned. And this should have sent a message to President Barrow to appoint or nominate him as the Speaker of the National Assembly. But then, unfortunately, that does not happen. So it's just so interesting that President Adam Barrow sometimes, I think there is something lacking in his administrative skills, that is like consultancy of certain individuals, and also respecting the interests of the general people, to make sure that whatever he does, he will not mind whether the Gambian people or whatever. Sometimes you should put aside some of these things and consider the general interests of the people.
Coming to the parliament again, there's this law or within the parliament that they have to share themselves, or they have to form what they call committees within the parliament.
Committees, yeah.
We've seen that during the process of this, there was this sort of power, this sort of qualifications. Everyone is bragging that I am qualified, I should be this, I should be that. And that sounds interesting, Mr. Cisse. What came into your mind when you saw them bragging that I have my masters, I'm supposed to be here, but someone should not lead because of my qualification?
It's so interesting. But I want to say this thing, that in serving, competency matters a lot. And I think parliamentarians should be well respectful to make sure that they should not look or yearn for certain positions that they are not fit enough to serve. If you are not fit enough to serve under a certain responsibility, you can just back off and give opportunity to the person who is fit enough, because that way you can promote efficiency. That way there can be effective administration. And when that happens, you all collectively will be praised for that. You will all be commended for that, because the committee is not a one-man committee. Any committee formed in the National Assembly is not a one-man committee. It's a committee that encompasses individuals that are also having some wide knowledge in that particular area. And I think the manner in which the committees were formed, at some point in time, the Gambians outside were really disputing it, because some of them, Gambians believe that some committees were led by certain individuals whom they think do not have the prerequisite knowledge to serve those positions. And I think that's not very telling, because committees in the National Assembly should be handled by very competent individual who understand the subject matter of that particular area, and not just a person who is well known from a political party, or a person who is just very famous, and a person who is to be patronized by the political party he belongs to. For example, Barrow appointing certain people as majority leader, and the UDP also, who constitute the second largest group in the parliament, appointing certain individual as minority leaders. They should do it in a manner that they look at the interests of the Gambian people by choosing competent people as majority leaders and minority leaders. And also when it comes to the committees, as I said, the competency matters a lot, and that way it will promote effective and very strong parliamentary proceedings, so much that the Gambians will enjoy the 6th parliament.
I think in political science, is it advisable for the citizens of a country, scrutinize the performance of the parliament itself? When the committees are set up, their responsibility is to look into various national matters, such as the defense, human rights, and all whatnot, and trade. But when we look at the performance of the 5th parliament, in their time, the cost of living, is high.
It's high.
The living conditions of the Gambian people deteriorate, badly. The health sector deteriorates badly, and all sectors as well. No improved performance is achieved. And one would ask, what was the main purpose of those committees when the areas that we think they could serve better, or for them to do well in their oversight functions, for those particular ministries have not achieved the better results that we expect to see from them?
Yeah, firstly, I would love to answer the question you asked about whether university students or even electorates sometimes can hold their representative accountable. I want to believe that that is very factual and realistic, that the electorates have the opportunity, they have the power to hold their representatives into account, because even university students particularly can really do that through so many ways. And then recently, the university students are encouraged to apply for NAM assistant, and I think that is one way they can hold these people into account, because by assisting somebody you can guide the person, by assisting somebody you can sometimes advise the person on certain matters, and this is very, very promising. But then now when it comes to committee members and how committees are formed in the parliament, just recently it's really, really discouraging from the look of things, and what Gambian people are talking about, what concerned people out there are talking about, is that the committees are headed by certain individuals whom they think they are not fit enough to serve those positions or to lead those committees. And also, you know, in any situation there is exception. In any situation there is exception. But then sometimes we should avoid certain things to make sure we have a better society. In a situation such as this, where you have competent people that can serve as head or leaders of some committees or certain committees, give them the opportunity. Give them the opportunity, and there it will come back and it will yield good for the benefit of every Gambian.
So among them, at the time of selecting these committees, it's also, they raised a concern that most of the older NAMs, you know, or the experienced NAMs that are re-elected into the parliaments have managed to grab some of the available positions in those committees, and which the newly elected are not very happy, you know, they are not happy about that process. Don't you think experience also matters?
Experience matters a lot.
As they may not have effective endorsement program into the parliament.
Obviously, experience matters a lot. Experience matters a lot. And if you look at this sixth parliament, the new faces, as we stated earlier, or during our parliamentary election analysis, I was worried that we will have a lot of new faces, and that's what exactly happens. The new faces in this sixth parliament is too much, and this means these people don't have the experience like as the others have. So, but then that does not matter much, because I think it's a ground where they will learn, and it's a ground where if you prove your competency, you can serve to your utmost best. But an experience matters in whatever one have to do. Experience is very, very key. And these new parliamentarians, I think, have to take their time, sit back and try to learn from their seniors who are elected. That matters a lot. I mean, there are seniors who are very cognizant, there are seniors who are very rational in trying to represent their representative, but not seniors who know that they are not better than the new one that are elected. It does not make sense.
We have quite a number of independent candidates also into the parliament, the sixth parliament. Do you expect in any way, any time soon, for them to fluctuate?
Yes.
From their original ground to the camp of the to the country
of any political party,
of these political parties?
It's very possible, because if you look at it, some independent candidates were somehow supported by a political party, or some independent candidates, because they don't have the opportunity to be nominated by or to come or contest on a political party, and they really want to contest, they stand independent. But we observe that some of them win because
of the backing of
a political party. And most likely, when they go to parliament, they can associate themselves with that political party. It's most likely to happen. But then I also want to believe that these independent candidates that are elected in the sixth parliament, if they are doing their function as expected, it will really neutralize. It will balance the equation between the majority and the minority. You understand that NPP is dominating and UDP is next, and then this way there can be very, very tough parliamentary sessions. But tough parliamentary session is what yields and brings effective and efficient administrative reforms and administrative programs, as we have seen in so many countries. The parliament have to be a tough ground. It has to be a tough ground. It doesn't have to be a place where people negotiate, and it has to be a tough ground where people intellectually debate on certain matters that are brought forward or put forward on the table, so as to make sure that they have a very concrete effects, or so that they can have a very yieldful
interesting time ahead, for the sixth parliament. We come to the ministerial appointment. The president has recently, appointed ministers to various positions. Why, in your own view, why don't you think it takes too long, almost about 100 days, for the president to actually constitute the real cabinet?
Back again, it's...
Perhaps he was looking for technocrats.
Yeah, obviously. People that will advise him and recommend him certain individual whom he should appoint in his cabinet. Remember, I think when we talk about the cabinet, it's important that we talk about what is the cabinet and what composite or what is the cabinet all about. The cabinet is that inner chamber of the executive that encompasses individuals or personnel who assist the president in initiating certain programs and policies so they can be implementable. And I think appointing very, very qualified individuals will really assist the president in making sure that he successfully administers the affair of the country in a manner in which the Gambian peoples likes it.
That's interesting. We've seen that ministerial appointments for the Hamad Ba, that is the Minister of Tourism.
Yeah, tourism.
Many says Hamad Ba should not bounce back in Barrow's government, in Barrow's second term, because looking at his achievements, within his ministry, it's not widely achieved. He has not achieved a lot, in terms of performance. So based on that, many thought that he would have been, left out of the of this cabinet, but here he is included.
Yeah.
Are you surprised to see him bounce back?
I'm not surprised.
But this is another individual that aided the president in a great deal because of his experience and he's vocal. He defend the president's agenda a lot, and also looking at this parliament, he has almost about 4 seats, so all that associated he's coming back to these things that I've just mentioned, Mr. Sisi.
Yeah, it's so political for sure. It's political, but it doesn't have to do with effectiveness and efficiency. I think the reason why Ahmad Ba is taken back to the cabinet is, as you alluded, that the guy is vocal. The guy is that person who fight for the president tooth and nail to make sure that the president agenda is being achieved and to make sure that the president is being respected by the Gambian people. And if you look at it also, he's that person who have a political influence, right, compared to the rest of the people that are sacked or that are not re-elected to be in the cabinet back again. So I think Ahmad Ba's appointment, I'm not surprised about that. But then I think also Ahmad Ba need to prove to the Gambian people to make sure the tourism sector work as expected, because otherwise that will really jeopardize his effort and also his ministerial responsibilities.
Because the members of the tourism industry, frown at Ahmad Ba's interventions within the ministry. So that call for government's intervention to addressing some of their challenges. So we hope to see a lot of achievements, to be implemented by the tourism ministry, under the leadership of Mr. Ahmad Ba. The vice president,
yes,
Dr. Ture, is gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Are you surprised?
Well, I think I'm not surprised about that, because it has been in the grapevine for so long, even before the appointment is done by the president. Many a times people have this belief that the vice president will be removed out of office, even in Barrow's tenure before the presidential election. And again, also, if you look at it, the vice president, Dr. Aissatou Toure, is very instrumental, but then there are a lot of issues that many people will talk about her, and so therefore I think that's why President Barrow deemed it necessary to remove her and then put Aliou Badara Diouf. So, and I also want to say this, that she's gone and just gone for good, and I think she's also given another responsibility in serving back the Gambian people, and that means she's still instrumental and a very key player in the development of this country in any endeavor that she is trying to push forward.
So, meaning that her leaving the government or her leaving the cabinet,
yes,
does not mean that she has actually gone for good. Her service is needed elsewhere, and that's a great move. We've also seen Mr. Mamadou Tangara, who has been the Minister of Foreign Affairs for so long. He's still there. I don't know what is your take on the minister. Sometimes you think that it is because of the experience that some of these people are retained, or because they have achieved, they have actually clocked certain achievements within their ministries. As a result, they have to be retained in their ministries.
Yeah, if you have seen that, it's because I think the president is advised in the appointment of his cabinet, and if Tangara is being appointed back again, it means that he is doing well, or probably he will do well. So I look forward to see what Tangara will do.
And then we have a new Minister of Higher Education, that is Professor Pierre Gomez, who used to be the Vice Chancellor at the University of the Gambia. With his length of experience and service, I guess the Ministry of Higher Education should be better positioned under Mr. Gomez. Do you think the same way?
Yeah, President Barrow couldn't appoint anybody more, competent than Pierre Gomez. That appointment, I think I have to commend President Barrow for that, and I also want to equally take this opportunity to congratulate Prof. Pierre Gomez for this new appointment. And I also look forward to see him deliver as expected, because Prof. Gomez is that person who is a seasoned educationist, somebody who knows the education system of this country, somebody who has been in the system for so long, somebody who knows the problem of students, particularly at the higher education level. And therefore, I think that is a very important and a very promising appointment that the president made.
In the presidential appointment, could you, the misplaced of appointment, example, the former Minister of Information is now taken to Works and Infrastructure. Don't you think this could negatively, retard the development process of various ministries?
Yeah. If the individual is not an expert in the area that he is appointed, that is going to be a problem. But if it is factual that the individual is an expert on that particular area, it's just a matter of changing of portfolios just to make sure administrative activities are done effectively and efficiently. I think there is no problem about that. But in a case that the guy is not an expert in that particular area, I think that is something that is...
So, Mr. Sise, we talk about the president made an utterance, that there are certain activists in this country, that will attack his persons, and of course that was widely believed to be Madi Jobati. And we've seen recently Madi Jobati made a lot of publications to say the president is hunting his life. So this becomes an issue, and this influenced the civil society organizations to made a press statement yesterday condemning the utterances of the president to say that is unprecedented. What is your take on this?
I think the president needs to be reminded that the Gambia is a democratic republic which encourages a freedom of expression, and then this civil society's movement and activists, usually they just criticize the president, and sometimes these criticisms are very constructive, and they are one way of making sure that they accomplish the imperfection of the president. So that is not a big deal, and I think sometimes the president have to take his time not to sometimes answer to these criticisms in a very unethical manner, in a way that people will stress this kind of response. Sometimes there is a way in which you can address some of the attacks and some things that are imposed on you as a president, but not by directly confronting with that individual or coming out of the media and talking about that particular individual so much that the person will feel like you are haunting him or her. So, and again also the president, I want to believe that you know, when sometimes Gambians face some problems, the president hardly come out to speak on those matters. But why is it that when these activists, when these human rights activists and other individuals, other responsible citizens speaks out to warn the president or to remind the president on certain matters, he comes out to try to debunk whatever those people said? It means like the president is just mindful of these individuals and not the general.
Do you think, from your own analysis, the civil society or the activists in this country are very objective in their criticism?
Most of them are very objective. Most of them are very objective, particularly Madi Jobate. Madi is very, very objective in his analysis. And I think it's just a matter of the president respecting and acknowledging those assertions from Madi Jobate and not debunking them and also warning or again trying to respond in a very unethical manner. That really killed the spirit of some of these activists, and also that does not, that really jeopardizes democracy. Yeah, that is a threat to democracy. It jeopardizes.
And the president also said we should, also the media practitioners should discourage Madi from using our platforms, as this is where he ignites, instill violence messages into people's mind and all whatnot. So I guess the civil society organizations should also try to be very objective.
Yeah, obviously.
In their dealings, because in as much as you criticize the president, there is certain aspect that he also, he also do good.
Yeah.
So those goods should also
be highlighted, obviously.
Not only
the weak points and
the weak points of the president.
Yeah.
So as us,
some of them do that. Some of them do that. Some of them do acknowledge the success of the president.
We us as media practitioners we try in as much as possible to remain objective in what we do, and we don't want to be distracted in any way. We'll do what we think is in the best interest of the country.
Of the Gambian people.
So viewers, that brings us to the end of the show. I was your host, Al-Kali Cham, and my guest was Mr. Ali Sise, a student from the political science department of the University of the Gambia. Until we come your way again, bye for now.
Thank you.